Good morning, Greg Hunter. Good morning, Elle Cameron. Kyle,
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Good to have you here.
It's good to
You
be
know,
here.
you
Al and Eric.
you tripped
Okay.
my feed early this morning.
I tripped your
Early this
feed.
morning,
Oh, shit.
like 3:00 this morning. Feed came in and it was I want PBS and the
Yeah.
Smithsonian
Yeah.
more than I want what?
Wait, what?
You shared a post.
I did.
You shared a post that you would rather have. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it
wasn't me.
Maybe it was doppelganger.
Okay.
Well, here was the post.
I'm scared now.
Here was the
Somebody's
post,
pretending
and I
to be me.
apologize that it wasn't you because
believe
I
it.
thought my co-host on Monday morning has got it going on, and she has started us with this topic. Well, here's the conversation.
Okay.
I would rather have the Smithsonian, PBS,
Oh,
and one other entity
I know what you're talking
more
about.
than I want or care about Greenland
Yes.
and what the hell is the other one?
Venezuela.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right. I'd rather have the Smithsonian than.
And with
Greenland.
Elle Cameron this morning, Greg Hunter. Greg, where do you hail from, sir?
I hail from my mother, and
Yay!
my mother was an original inhabitant of Tennessee, but she moved to Dayton when the Industrial Revolution got going good and hot in the mid 1940s and 50s. And so I was born in Dayton, Ohio, and grew up in Kettering, Ohio, a white flight suburb of Dayton, Ohio, as we
White
call it.
flight.
Welcome to the
suburb.
Gym City this morning.
Oh,
And
honestly.
when did you
The
come
Gym
to
City
learn?
of the Plains.
Gym
Dayton
City
is
of the
the
Plains.
Gym City of the East. We had a
Really?
hockey team called the Dayton Gems.
Nice,
Yes.
nice.
We're all.
Do you follow baseball as well as hockey?
No, I'm more of a hockey fan than I am a baseball
Did you
fan.
play?
I did not. That was a
I
club
couldn't
team.
skate without brakes.
I did not learn. I had my mom's figure skates. That'll tell you how poor we were.
I could do head to ice and faster than a blink of an eye in hockey skates.
Well, we used to like to play crack the whip.
Oh yeah.
And a person on the end of the whip sometimes
Yeah.
didn't have any teeth left. I loved being on the hockey rink. It was good.
Good
So I
energy,
skate in
good
Holiday
energy this
Park.
morning. Good energy this morning. But I want to go back
Yeah,
to
let's
that
do that.
post. That's a really powerful post.
Yeah.
In that these are preferences. These are choices that we make in our world, and we as citizens, we don't often get those choices, do we?
As to what the bigger government's.
Yeah.
gonna do.
When we go to the polls and we vote in
Right.
representatives, are we really getting their policy upon the campaign trail? Are we really getting what they're about to unleash on us or pursue? Did we know that Greenland was on the acquisitions list? Did we know that
I think
Venezuela?
we knew he was not in his right mind, and I think we knew he's power hungry. I think
Well.
everyone knew that.
So knowing the conversations currently about Greenland, Greg, what do you think about Greenland, Venezuela?
Yeah,
do you
what do you
think
think
that
about
we
Greenland?
are we
Well,
right
been to Greenland.
to be interested in these countries?
I'll just say from a geopolitical standpoint, if you wanted to take things and project things and cut a deal where we would keep this part of the hemisphere and let the rest of the hemisphere go, I can see that from a
Isolation.
well,
Right.
Protectionist deal?
I've
wait a
heard that
second.
too, that we need to protect the Americas.
We were formed for the general welfare and the common defense, not for worldwide offense. So our particular brand of government was if you were going to project power, Congress had to approve that. So we're projecting power without Congress's approval. We are outside our constitutional norms. If people seem to think that that's okay to go take other people's property, there usually is backlash to that. We'll see what happens. It's always been a mistake to project our power overseas. We end up with broken people that
Right,
execute people in the street because we don't have VA anymore.
Yeah.
So we trade one set of values for another. I'm not sure the values, and I think this is what Elle's point was, the values that we had here, we've traded the values of our history, the values of education, of a straight radio or television for projecting power that we've always done. Unfortunately, in the 50s, we were a banana republic. We kept South America down and we held them back. So we'll see what that happens. We'll see whether there's blowback for that. And
Who knew that the Gulf of America would lead us to this shore
I know
in
what
Venezuela?
the tweet was something about Marco Rubio is going to become the president of Cuba. That's like one of his latest tweets, Trump's. So yeah, I mean there is this.
Is
thing
it official Trump's page? Because right now
Yeah.
online, I can't freaking tell what might even be AI today. I can't even freaking tell, right? I don't know the legitimacy. How do you check?
my God.
I remember
Totally
going.
true. Now we're deep into it. Now you're going way down the well.
I'm really at a place where so
I agree.
people don't know what sources are. There used to be primary, secondary sources,
I
things
agree.
like this. Well, what
We don't
what
even
say
know
you?
what's
What
correct.
say you on the legitimacy? How do you back check? How do you
Right.
research the origins of this stuff? You can barely
Thank goodness
talk
for
with
AI.
You can barely talk with Facebook. If you get
Ask
put
AI to check.
I got back in last February, 2025. I got put in Facebook jail because I published a promotion, just a information piece about a nonprofit organization trying to sell raffle tickets to win a Henry rifle donated by Dave's Guns right here in Laramie.
Thank you, Dave.
I got 30 days unsupervised prohibition from Facebook. You're locked out, Eric.
Did you
You're
cry?
done.
Were you
And
really
your
upset?
your
Were you sad? Did
privileges
you
are
guys, like,
revoked. You try to
withdrawals?
talk somebody? You try to talk somebody
Did
to
you have withdrawals?
Did I have withdrawals?
Yeah, from Facebook. Oh my God,
Well,
I'm not on Facebook.
In
now.
my world, digital is as integrated as traditional
Sure,
radio.
sure.
So
Yeah,
I did
that's true.
feel suspended in
Okay.
in
Something was missing.
yeah without a lot of leg
Yeah.
in a third of what I do. Print, radio, and digital, three of my primary components in media. And so yeah, I did feel, but
Okay.
what was worse, I didn't get any due process. I didn't get any
You're
opportunity
really
to
upset.
appeal.
Okay.
I didn't
process is deal.
I didn't get any opportunity to face my accuser,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
These are some principles that I appreciate about America as it was founded. Like
Oh, okay. That's coming back.
but back to Greenland
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Venezuela, isn't how many years were we on a reactionary beat? You will not fire until fired upon. Top Gun, right? That's the language of military.
Right,
Do not
right.
fire until fired upon. You will not, and
Right.
basically we have to go into harm's way for decades, hundreds of years before we are able to actually
Yeah,
do
we've talked
what
about
maybe
this
we
one
wanted to
before.
do in the first
Right.
place.
Why
I don't
weren't
know
those
about
ships confiscated? Why weren't those people just arrested and become prisoners of war? Why was the first thing we did was throw a bomb on a Venezuela drug boat? And again, do we know it was a Venezuela drug boat? Are we believing the government?
Was
Or
there a
was it
cloud
just-
of cocaine that
Right.
spewed
Right.
out
Or
like
was it
like
just
a
a
whale's
target,
blowhole?
And we just wanted to show our power and our might, so we just blew them up. We didn't really care that they were human beings.
How many people would have survived today in America had drugs not came in via boats, planes, or whatever through generations of American history
I
back?
think we're talking about two different things, though.
Oh, we're talking about drug boats. Why were they
Yeah,
why
we're
were they
talking
blown
about drug
up?
boats, and we're talking about a
Wait,
social condition in the United
wait,
States.
Oh yeah, I got you. I
wait,
follow
wait,
you.
wait.
I follow you.
Two
Great.
different things.
The drug boats
The drug
were
boats.
the ones, they fired the weapons. Those were the
Wait,
bullets
what?
being fired at America.
Oh,
That
I
was
see.
the justification
Okay.
to go into
Do
Venezuela.
you buy that?
Was that AI? Did
No,
that?
no, no, no.
How do you
What
know
I'm
that's
saying,
true?
What I'm saying.
The drug boats were the bullet. They were the
The
weapon.
drug boats were
the
the.
drug. The
in other
people
words,
on the drug boats were firing at the U.S.
they
first.
killed Americans with overdoses. So therefore, that was the justification of Trump going in.
Okay,
Nancy
I see.
Reagan
I'll
would have.
just-
Nancy
that does not
Reagan
make
years
sense.
ago would have said, "Just say no."
I'll just say this: I've done quite a number of naturally occurring substances in my life, and early in my career.
Good segue.
Okay,
Very good.
So
I like that.
there were far
Smooth.
less overdoses in my day than when my cohort had children. my belief is those people that did all those drugs, cocaine and whatever, you can pull out of cocaine. You can't pull out of meth. You can't pull out of oxy. So a lot more kids died under this current administration than when I was a kid, even though drugs were far more prevalent. Up until 1990, people were freebasing and smoking crack. It all ended. Now, when you got hooked on Mommy Xanax and you went to buy it out in the street, you were dead of fentanyl. So I believe the drug war,
it's true.
our drug war has killed more people both internationally and inside America. I'll just tell you, if you want a drug boat, I know a guy that works for Big Pharma and has a nice big boat in Lake Norman. I can give you the coordinates. I would argue that, and you kind of seeing this in society, okay? Luigi Mangione.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Goes
Did
right
he
up
not
to
shoot?
CEO.
So if you look at the pharmaceutical industry and you look at the degradation of our rights in America, for some reason, everybody tells me, oh, these are your enumerated rights. And these are the only ones the federal government can manage, these first 1 through 9. And then the state has the 10th. So how are naturally occurring plants illegal in America, and why isn't it a states' rights issue?
20 to 30.
And which lobby was most influential in marijuana not being legal through generations as a natural plant?
Well, that would be the Hearst and the Wood lobby.
Yeah. PPG maybe come to anybody in their history in their history lessons?
Again,
Gee,
We didn't get taught that kind of stuff, did we, Al?
no.
Not in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
No, we got taught. We
Well,
were gonna
Cheyenne-
freak out by smoking weed.
well,
The
I'll
wacky
just say
tobacco.
this
Yeah.
for and again, it all depends on where you grow up. Because I think probably in Cheyenne, Wyoming, if you were going to school at the same time I was going to school in Kettering, Ohio, the ability or the amount of drugs available to you might have been less than what went through the crossroads of America at that time, when you have a ton more people, and really a ton more people, a lot more money across the board, usually end up with better drugs, quote, better drugs. So I do ask people, what was your exposure to drugs in high school? And again, I think there's a certain exposure level.
I was high. I was so high in algebra class. I was
See?
sitting in the back of the room, and they were all like, "She's high."
You
My
had a
brother,
taller chair? Ellie, you had a taller chair? Is that what you're saying?
Something.
Yeah, was the classroom slow?
I had
see.
lunch before algebra, and I went in just whacked out.
That was after lunch?
It was right after lunch.
Right after
Me and
lunch. Gotcha,
Susan,
gotcha.
First name Susan. Susan and I'd go smoke some weed and go back to algebra.
You know, I
See,
think
I wouldn't do that.
I think
do
about
that.
I'm not saying do it. I'm not saying it's smart.
No, it's
I'm
not
not
good.
saying that's smart. I'm just
I'm
saying
brought
that was
to-
my experience. In
I'm
high
brought
school
to
with
think
weed.
about government talks about doing so well for all of its citizens, right? Is maybe crafted in some people's minds to protect. Now, take cigarettes, tobacco.
Sure, yeah, we protect.
Now,
everyone from
well, we've
that.
sure protected the taxation on those commodities, haven't we? We've certainly, even though cancer and all of these things are attributed and were known back long ago to be caused by these types of substances, these materials industrialized in America, the government keeps its hands in taxing those alcohol
we really do
and
benefit
tobacco,
from those,
don't
though.
they?
There's a lot of programs that are funded by tobacco revenue.
But imagine if we just if we didn't allow them.
Right.
If
Prohibition doesn't work.
Imagine, well, it didn't work, did it?
Well, prohibition's not working now.
And it's not working now.
No, it costs you
Agreed.
more money now. Is there?
But the cycle's not stopped by continuing any of it. I mean, it's not the cycle.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me. It seems that it doesn't matter if you stop the manufacture, if you stop the legalization, if you legalize and you don't. It doesn't. We still have bad things happening to good people.
Well, if you make things illegal, people end up choosing worse products, and they make worse products. As you made
It
alcohol
escalates.
illegal,
Yeah.
it became more lethal to people because you had no controls. and you had no recourse back to the government. Hey, I bought some bad.
Do you have a shine supplier in your home state?
Here's the thing: you don't need that. It's kind of amazing how good the federal government was on killing alcohol, because we're just now seeing the full breadth of what craft beer used to be
Right.
before Prohibition.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the craft beer recipes that were put in the vaults in 1912 didn't come out till recently, and they've now become big sellers. The federal government did a really, really good job at killing competition in the alcohol industry,
Creativity.
right?
Oh, okay.
And making big boys the king. Little boys came around. Now the big boys are the king again. Kona Big Wave's a great beer. Anheuser-Busch figured it out and bought it up.
Sure.
So again, it gives you opportunity to do things, just like this. If you look at what Colorado did with legalizing marijuana, they finally did what should have been done a long time ago and opened the door to 50 laboratories of democracy. Just like you're talking about with taxation of cigarettes, if you overtax a product, you end up making a black or gray market. And you can look at that across the country with marijuana. You can see states that have overtaxed it and overdone it, and other states, that did not. So that becomes an arbitrage opportunity for people to make money by moving one product from one state to another.
Is there a sweet spot, Greg, with respect to taxation and regulation? Is there a sweet spot? Are you suggesting that there's a fulcrum point?
Oh, I would
That's a good
suggest
question, right.
I would suggest there's a sweet spot in everything. Is that what you want to do with a product that we know ends up harming people, but you don't want to make it illegal, is you want to tax it to the point that taxation covers the risk to the people, right?
Oh,
I would argue that my father
interesting.
died paying for his father's Social Security, as he bought cigarettes and he paid into Social Security and lives 1 year past 65. He doesn't outlive his parents. Both of his parents lived at 97 and 95. My dad dies at 66.
Okay.
He paid his tax for my parents that didn't do those. So if you want to point the gun slowly at yourself, pull the trigger, and it comes out 30 years, smoke up.
Right.
I'm okay with it. That's the way we should do with a lot of these naturally occurring products. This country evolved with tobacco and alcohol. It didn't evolve with marijuana and cocaine. And the people that brought those over were mainly brown. Even though you would say that it was the industry, we based those laws on excluding brown people. And since we couldn't enslave them anymore, we put them in jail. Right? You can also look at the recent history that crime was rising through our youth, and we could not understand why. And we started to blame these drugs. We blamed the drug war. Well, it hasn't worked out that way. Again, as I said, most of my cohort lived through the drug war and did not overdose. Their kids, however, dying at astronomical rates. I've had friends their kids have died now and almost died because of buying these drugs on the street.
So where do those Venezuelan drug boats get the drugs? Are they coming from Venezuela or are they coming from China?
They don't have any drugs in those boats.
I thought they were drug boats. I thought that's why
There's no proof
we
of that.
attacked.
We've had no due
blown up.
process.
Wasn't the proof blown up?
Hypothetically,
Did we
if
do
they
residue
are-
samples on the fragments of boat
don't
that
know.
were floating or sunk?
He's just trying to consolidate the drug cartels for Don Jr. to run. He's getting Venezuela. Venezuela. The only reason we went after Venezuela is because we have really angry former immigrants of Cuba that want Cuba back. The way to restrain anybody is cut off their energy. Venezuela was the last energy supplier for Cuba. Cuba's government will fall before Venezuela. And sure, great job. Be President Marco Rubio of Cuba. At least you get him out of Florida. So if you look at a lot of if you look at the
That's how
lot,
I feel about Chuck Gray.
but if you
Go
look at,
ahead, Chuck, run for any other office.
well, I'll just say, if you
That
look
would
at a lot of people in that are kind of angry immigrants, Cubans would be high on the list.
So Cubans would be the ones celebrating what happened just recently in Venezuela, or they're not happy
Well,
about
let me just tell you,
because the energy to Cuba is being cut off.
the current Cubans are unhappy about it. Would you like to be in Cuba suffering? I mean, a 1957 Chevy's great, but if you don't have enough energy, you're a suffering person.
70%
Well, that's
social media sources this weekend suggest 70% of Venezuelan oil and crude bought by like China.
Right. There's
Yeah,
this
if I believe that,
relationship with
if I'm to understand
Right.
that, then supposedly the political play is to protect America by basically we're at war now
Yeah.
Yes,
today.
it's a resource war.
Resource war.
And and if you look at
Interesting.
our supplies, and again, this is the energy industry. I graduated with a BS in geological sciences. Unfortunately, oil went bust, as Wyoming knows these things, in about 1985, right? 83. So when you get out, you have no job. But if you look at the oil industry, if you study it, the American fracking produces light oil. Our refineries and our diesel needs heavier oil. Canada produces that. Venezuela produces that. China needed diesel. You need diesel to run all your big trucks, to run things that dig minerals up. So again, restricting China from that diesel, and they got cut off, is a way to kind of shoehorn the war. Plus, we drove China into the arms of Russia as an oil supplier. They were not supplying oil to Russia. Russia was not supplying oil to China until we stupidly start, screwing Ukraine, basically. Again, the deal on the table.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
enemy, yes. Well, and again, in 2019, during the perfect calls, the deal was on the table to swap Venezuela for Ukraine. So the deal has already been on the table
How do you know all this?
because I read a lot. I read
Okay, so
a
name,
lot.
what's your number one source?
What do consultants
AI?
do?
Consultants?
Yeah, he's a consultant.
They
I
consult.
read.
They could
And
read.
if you want to make less money as a consultant, you read more instead of get paid more. So the more I read, the poorer I get.
That's what's going
The
on.
poorer
The
I
richer
get,
I get in mind,
that's right. I understand.
the
things.
lighter I get in pocketbook.
That's right. Thank you very much, Eric. You got my mantra right
So
there.
but you just keep reading. You don't mind.
Hey,
Well,
they can
because-
never take your education away from you.
No, they can't.
You know
That's
why?
right. They never can.
They never
can
do.
Because I was a really good consultant very early on.
Okay.
I rose like a rocket
I'm
inside
sure
a
you
company.
did. I'm sure.
They get bought out.
0 to
Inside a
15.
company that was formed by out of Los Alamos, of Oppenheimer's.
Oh my! Yeah, that's right. I've heard.
Their
you
claim
tell
to
this story
fame
before.
was figuring out EMP pulse. Their claim to fame was when this company I work for, John A. Young Corporation, JCOR, their original process was evaluating electronic equipment just as a nuclear blast went off. So they worked down in Nevada City. They would build all these test beds of electronic equipment. They would send off an underground nuclear blast. The EMP pulse would come in and fry all the electronic equipment. They would close lead doors, and the radiation got the top. So the ability to extract data, high speed, became very important at the dawn of the internet.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so my $2 shares
Yeah.
in 2000 became $72 shares in the
Nice.
open market.
And then you started reading.
No, I knew my retirement was set. And then my
Cash
wife,
out.
Then my wife saw that too, and she cashed out.
Oh, she cashed out. She was a capitalist.
Oh, yeah,
Come
well.
on, Allie. You also ran
No,
for
no,
office.
no.
You took
Did
some
she
money
motivate
and
you
ran for
often?
office.
This was 2000.
Oh, this was before.
This was my first run for office.
Ah. Okay.
So yes,
What'd you run for, Greg? Greg Hunter.
U.S. House of Representatives as a Republican in Dayton, Ohio, against a guy by the name of Mike Turner, who is still there. So what you know about office, even though it's an every 2-year cycle, you put Dick Cheney in office, you're never going to get rid of Dick Cheney. You put Mike Turner in office as a Republican, you're never going to get rid of Mike. Unless you have a huge restructuring of your state
Yeah.
during, gerrymandering after censuses. And so I knew back when I was running, our city went from going to be Democrat that a Republican was going to run. I was a Republican because I voted in a primary for John McCain because I did not want Bush Cheney. I wanted McCain to go against Gore. I felt we'd have a better president if we got McCain or Gore. And look who we ended up. Bush Cheney, who got us into the forever global war on terrorism. I'll just say if we'd elected Gore, we would not have gone into Iraq, for sure. We might have bombed Afghanistan, but it would have been a different show. So picking a president really makes a difference.
Well, didn't we? I thought Gore won the popular vote. He just lost the electoral.
Gore actually won Florida. I was there when I was in Tallahassee when the
was-
Chads came up.
Talk about being stolen.
Did you leave a Chad hanging?
No, I thought it was the biggest spectacle of my life. It was the second job I'd ever done for the Forest Service, and we actually were doing an evaluation of the forests in Florida when those. So in other words, I had a Tallahassee hotel room I could have sold for $1,000 a night to all these lawyers coming in. I remember the whole thing was a spectacle.
It
Of
was.
that
It was huge.
truck coming into Tallahassee. We went down to watch it. Trucks everywhere.
Yeah.
But I was also in Florida, 6 to 8 months before when the original precursor to INS, went guns up into Ilian Gonzalez's house at the behest of Janet Reno
Oh, wow.
and sent him back to Cuba. And you know what happened that night? Riots in downtown Miami.
Sure.
That's how you end up with hateful Marco Rubio,
Yeah.
Enrique Tarrio, which ran the Proud Boys,
Yeah.
and then Eileen Cannon. She's another derivative of a Miami Cuban that, just...
Really?
Oh, yeah. So
Okay.
messing it around with Florida really has caused the Democrats to be a problem. Mr. Clinton should have never sent Ilian Gonzalez back, and Gore would have been president. And we would not have John Roberts on the Supreme Court. Different history.
Greg,
One little history.
Greg, you brought up the
Well,
Cheney
thank you so
family.
much.
You brought up the Cheney family, and interestingly enough, you ran against
Yeah.
Liz Cheney.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
not correct?
For
What year
yourself.
was that campaign?
In 2018.
Yeah.
Trump was elected, and I wanted to make sure that I spent my money saying I wasn't associated with Trump, and to inform Liz Cheney that I think she was on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Proved to be true for her. So
Good
I
job.
just
Thank
wanted
you
to
for doing that.
stand
Thank
up
you
and
for
say
taking that
I
on.
wasn't associated with this person that we were putting into office, and I wanted to define myself as separate from that.
Thank you.
So
How
that's all.
important,
Thank you for doing that.
Greg Hunter, our guest on the Talk Shop this morning with El Cameron, both candidates in prior campaigns. Greg, what is essential about running for a campaign? And El, I'll ask you the same question here in a moment. What is essential about having contested campaign races in our society today?
Well, I think everybody brings a different idea, and again, I think it's to me, I think it's very interesting. I think most of America wants the same thing. Wants the same thing. We just argue about how we're going to get there. Some people want to use force. Other people want to use talking. Some people want to use the force of law, and others do not. I'm a big fan of the Constitution. I'm a big fan of the Declaration of Independence. I feel like our rights have been eroded significantly because of fear. Fear of drugs. We have decided that we are going to make a lot of things illegal. And as we made a lot of things illegal, we drove people to worse decisions. We can see that in the outcome. Now, we're going to blame brown people and cocaine in Venezuela? Boy, half your kids are on kitty meth. Everybody's ADHD.
Right.
What's wrong with America here?
Who doesn't have a prescription today?
Right. Exactly.
It's-
A prescription.
let me tell you-
How quick can we get to them?
Right.
Let me just
exactly.
say, those people with prescriptions, they need that drug. As a matter of fact, there's a problem for the U.S. military.
Really?
The U.S. military cannot take a person that has been adjudicated to ADHD medicine. In other words, that's a reoccurring medicine they need. These days, if you go to the military, matter of fact, I even in my day, if you said, "Oh, you use marijuana or you did cocaine," fine, that's a drug you don't have a prescription for. You can stop. They'll take you in the military.
Right.
So we have totally changed up what we used to do. Now, again, in my day, these things happened. A friend of mine ended up at the CIA. He'd done the same things I did. He was just smart enough to graduate with a network engineering degree at the dawn of the computer age.
Sure.
And I was just a cast-off geologist.
Yeah.
So the CIA wasn't interested in my talents. So, the drug thing is a very fascinating
The
thing.
question was, though, why is it so important to have people run
Differing
Exactly.
ideas is
Different
what I heard.
ideas.
different ideas?
Your answer to that.
Because without people being willing to lose with grace and dignity and admit that they've been defeated, as Al Gore did in 2000, we don't have democracy. The only way we have democracy is by people being willing to say, yes, I ran and I lost. It's not like, yes, I ran only to win. I ran because I wanted to spread ideas, because I wanted to share information, because I wanted to make a difference. And it's okay that I lost, because that's democracy. If you're afraid to lose, then we're going to lose democracy.
The
You can't
planks
throw a temper tantrum every time you lose.
the planks of each campaign become the structure of accountability potentially going forward, don't they? You
Not
have
so much anymore, it seems like. I mean, I think that's
oh
what we
come
go
on!
back
Do you
to.
not? You ran against whom in 2024?
Somebody yesterday I was talking to said the hack.
Right. Well, okay.
Representative Hageman.
So Hageman,
Not
held accountable by your standards. You don't frame her current activity in Congress
I don't even
against
remember what her
against
platform
what you
was.
campaigned
I mean,
against.
First off, she wouldn't debate me.
Yes.
First off,
Oh,
she
Greg,
wouldn't-
we're getting to that.
she wouldn't even debate me, right? Like, I'm so beneath her, she wouldn't even debate me. I don't really remember much of her platform except what we know now, which is that she wants to sell off public lands. She sold off public waters before too. So she's more than willing to sell our resources for her political gain.
That's right. Why would you live in Wyoming
As-
when you've sold all the resources?
as the
That's why she has a house in Virginia.
As the Colorado River
Have a
Compact,
house in Virginia?
Yes.
as the Colorado
I
River
would too.
Compact
Come on,
comes
you
to
would too.
I
expire,
wouldn't.
You would not buy a house? I'm
No.
sorry.
the Colorado River Compact comes to expire in June of 2026.
I'm scared.
And we are sitting with actually Colorado and Wyoming are on the same side of the aisle with respect to debating Arizona, LA,
Right,
Texas on
San
the
Diego.
water utilization. And going forward, we don't stand to have a very good outlook with respect to what's going to happen with Wyoming and Colorado's future
Right.
if Arizona, California, and Texas prevail and beat us at our historical
At our resource.
water rights
Right, our
that have been
resource.
established. What's going to happen? City of Laramie alone has invested into multiple ranches and their water rights to go
Right.
forward and to perpetuate the city of Laramie's viability
Yeah,
into
smart.
decades ahead. But have they? If the Colorado
know.
River Compact, if we fail in that litigation, if we fail in that and do not prevail to preserve our existing water rights or historically relied upon water rights, were those purchases all in vain, Greg?
Well, I mean, I think that's the system, though, too, right? So you have a county government making these decisions, and you have a state government making these decisions, and you have a federal government making these decisions, and whose decisions are we going to be able to follow? So it's that whole hierarchy of decision making. Yeah, Albany County did a lot to make sure that Laramie, the city of Laramie, has water into the future. But now that might be overridden by something the state's going to do. We're seeing the same thing with abortion. What did you want to say, Greg?
Well, Water rights is a very arcane subject, but
Arcane.
let's go down to the thing.
Arcane.
Let's go down to the thing.
Says a geologist.
The water
Says a
falls.
geologist.
The water starts on our states, right? Here's what all those states are going to have to know. And we distributed it to people with higher population states. So
Right.
they have more congressmen. They have the same amount of senators, right? So you're going to have to find interests to keep ours. Now, the other thing that we have is how are you going to enforce it?
How you
Come
gonna
on.
enforce the-
Are your National Guard going to come up and make sure we're not using the water we're supposed to? Good luck with that. So you have to come
Nice.
up.
Nice
You
little
have
thought
to,
there.
again, I understand the projection of power.
Okay.
I understand.
Clearly,
And if
clearly.
you actually look in America, that's why you should concern yourself about losing public lands, because you lose a voice and where all the water falls. The
Yeah.
water falls in America on Forest Service property. The less we have personal property in there, the less users we have on that property,
right.
the more water we have.
Okay.
Now, the city of Laramie, I love that they bought those ranches. Because again, this particular city was founded on a name called Jacques Laramie. So that particular individual was a beaver trapper. If you look,
Beavers.
I'm a big fan of the beavers.
We know.
I have just asked my city councilor, look, we own all these ranches. Why are we tearing down? They just tore down beaver dams all along the South Fork of the Laramie River in those ranches.
Okay.
So why are we doing that? Because if you look at water law, to support wildlife, that's a beneficial use. So why are we tearing down beaver dams that stores water, that provides recharge
Why are
for...
we?
I have not gotten an answer to
I
that
don't
question.
know why we are.
I have sent that email almost 5 days ago.
How do you feel about non-responsive elected
Yeah, that's the
officials and
question.
hired staff?
Well, here's what I'm going to say about being a counselor. It is the worst elected position in the government.
Really? City
You
council.
actually have
City
to make
council.
decisions that get implemented. When you go to the state or the federal,
That goes back to the platform. No, I don't remember a thing.
yeah,
I even said.
you can just
She
say,
wasn't gonna implement
well, I
anything."
wanted to have this law done, but daggone it, they didn't get it done. But when you come down to city council, you get paid nothing.
And you only get 3 shots at the apple, 3 bites at the apple to craft legislation in Wyoming
Right.
in your service each year. 3 each per.
The city council.
No.
Legislators,
okay.
legislators
They get
each
5
get 3,
bills.
three
Oh,
bills or
really?
something like
They
that.
get 3 bills, I
They
think.
get three
Again,
bills.
you're just, I'm up there working for you. Oh, yeah. But at the city council level, that's why half these guys that talk big, and then they get on city council.
But the question
Okay,
was,
okay.
Greg, how do you feel about non-responsiveness? You didn't get a response to your
Yeah.
beaver dam
Wait,
question.
wait, but I've only asked one question so I don't know what the response time should be.
Well, what did you expect it would be?
48 hours.
In business, how long do you have to respond to a consumer?
It depends.
How bad do you want their business?
That's right. How bad do you want their business? Well, to me, I felt like I asked the right person because the person that's 1, in my ward, 2, claimed conservation, and 3 is on the ranch advisory board. So I thought the question I was asking to a single counselor was the right question to the right counselor. I don't know what the response times.
What would you like it to be?
I'll just say I have sent some things. I actually sent something to all the city councilors, and one person responded saying,
Out of 9?
"Thank you for that."
Oh, okay.
It was just information.
It was an acknowledgement.
It was an acknowledgement. So I got 1 and
Did you
9.
get an acknowledgement from the important question you asked about beaver dams
No, I have not.
from that one?
So I have not.
So you don't, did you email it or did you send it U.S. Postal Certified?
I sent an email.
Okay.
I'm going to wait until
When did you send it?
I sent it last Monday or Tuesday.
All right, so we're going to track it. We're going to have you again.
Okay.
And we're going to follow this story because in 2 years of observation, 90% attendance by video or personal attendance, I have a gross disappointment in responsiveness to the public
I would
with
agree.
respect to 9 city council members failing to even acknowledge direct constituents by ward 1, 2, or 3 in Laramie, Wyoming. And,
They
and my
just-
case isn't alone. I've found many
Why
with
don't
the
they
same
do it?
consistency.
Why don't they respond? Like, why? What happened? I mean, I understand.
I
they're
am not
busy.
among to answer as one for the many on the council,
We
but
can
I'm
guess,
disappointed.
yeah.
I do know that is a real issue for me, is the lack of communication to and
Do
fro
they feel like they
between
don't
people.
need to- I'd like to know why they.
I've
don't
heard counselors,
respond.
one counselor in particular state, I don't read your email. They're too long and you're not in my ward.
Too long, didn't read.
Well, let's talk about the wards. 1, 2, or 3. What's the difference? You know, in this community, is there a big? Do you notice an issue line crossed or drawn? No.
No,
They should
no.
all. Frankly, I believe they should all be at large, and all of them should be accountable for making our city better overall. And maybe they are. Arguably, they are.
I
Maybe
like
they aren't.
that having different wards, to be honest.
Do you? Why
somebody
maintain it?
drew the arbitrary lines to exclude other people.
And why redraw those?
Well, I just think
After the
representative from different locations. If you had an at large, again, with money in politics, you can end up with people from all one location. So I kind of like
That's
different
true.
wards.
That's true.
Now, my belief, again, my first email. So if I wasn't going to respond, I was going to forward that email to the mayor and vice mayor and say, do you have any input in whether this person responds? And let me just say, this issue is not going to go away. I have people behind me, I said, that are looking at this issue as well. I mean, there's a lot of wildlife concerns in these areas. So when we control a ranch finally, and I know private ranchers can trap out beavers and get rid of what they want. But when I went up to the National Forest this weekend, and I've seen all the beaver dams gone up there too. So are they losing out because of water's dying? Are they losing out purposely? So we have public lands where we're not having our beavers. We are now in control of a ranch in the city of Laramie that we could keep the beaver dams for the entire stretch of those. So why aren't you? The question is, why aren't you? If you have a good answer, now my belief is the longer you wait, the answer is no good. But I do feel like that I need to go through the process of, hey, I'll give you a call. Did you see my email? You know, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You guys have gone down this path and have been frustrated immensely before. I just want to see how the process works out for me for this particular question.
I'm crossing my fingers and I'm putting my hands together like this. and
I have the audacity of hope, is what you're telling me.
No, I am hopeful. I hope for the promise of a new tomorrow in 2026.
We both do. Okay. Now, can people be asking just frivolous, crazy questions?
Probably.
Right. And
Undoubtedly. You know, how in 150 years can we tax surface water, impervious surfaces? How can we do? You know,
are you going back to stormwater? You jump into stormwater here?
I go there, but I'm gonna
Okay.
retract that. I'm gonna retract that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna regroup on 3 goals that we had going into this. One was Supreme Court and
the Wyoming Supreme Court.
yeah, well, it was bipartisan health care. Where did we want to travel with this?
Are we talking about was that Wednesday that the Wyoming Supreme Court said that they struck down
Abortion is health care.
Yeah, they struck down 2 previous laws that we're trying to go through, saying that abortion wasn't health
Life
care,
is a human
and
right act.
the pill, what?
Life is a human right act.
Yeah, I like it. And the
HB
pill.
152.
We could not have the pill. Is that the other one?
I'm pretty sure it's chemical abortions.
That's
yes.
what it was.
Yes,
yeah,
chemical.
Those 2 things. So that they are health care, which went back.
You know,
to
we've won the drug war.
2020.
You know that's going to work. I'll just say, when you again, I just tell you,
go
whoever is passing these laws must be smoking much more dope than me.
Right,
If you
right.
think this stuff is going to work, and then to go around, are you going to have people going door to door? Hey. They wanted to they want to test your wastewater. Hey, We found a chemical abortion in your wastewater. We're going to come after you.
Right.
What are we doing in this country?
I don't know.
Greg, how important is the election process to the selection of judges who make these determinations in our country?
The selection of judges. I'll just say to me, and again, Elle brings up a term called democracy. We're in a republic. I want less democracy, but I want the vote to count more. It used to count a lot more when we voted for a governor that would select your federal senators approved by the state. My belief is the more democracy you have, the more chaos you have. You want that vote to mean something because then people will study that person and make sure that we get the right person in there. Because if you're picking the wrong judge, yeah, I'll just say this. The idea, Dobbs is a terrible decision. The idea that our founders said, hey, you can't put federal troops in the house, okay? But if I knock on your door and want to manage your wife's womb, come on in. That makes no sense to me. A citizen should have not, Roe was wrong. A citizen should have had 9 months to decide. If we think people are getting pregnant just to have abortions, we have a terrible view of humans and an even more terrible view of our female citizens. I believe if you want to make a better society, you want women to feel welcome in having as many kids as possible, and you want to craft laws for that. I trust the citizens know when they should bring somebody in to our republic. Because I believe once that kid's on the ground, then we got to say. Up until then, it's your decision. But once you put them out in the public, that's when we have a say. The state has no compelling interest in whether Elle has another child or not, and I don't either. But once that kid's out here, if it's running around in your room, you want it toilet trained and you want it educated. At least that's what I do. And I want it vaccinated. But until then, it's your deal. So Dobbs is a terrible decision if you read the Third Amendment. So I guess my respect for the legal profession starts at the Supreme Court. And my belief is we have 6 terrible justices up there that do not reflect what's the actual American beliefs in society, but were installed because we elected Republicans that wanted one issue. You want to talk about DEI? You want to limit a group of judges that will only strike down Roe?
Get back to a direct vote, right? In the citizen.
Oh, I don't want a direct vote. I don't want the judges to be direct voted.
No. But you wanted more power in the election of a governor.
The citizens.
I wanted the governor I wanted to get rid of the 17th Amendment, popular election of senators.
Okay.
If you get rid of the popular election of senators, you will have rollover in the Senate, and that senator will have to abide by what the state says. Because if you don't kiss the state's proverbial butt, you won't be elected. But Barrasso knows he can get money from where they funded. They're funded out of New York. The rich people knew in the progressive era that they convinced the rubes to vote for anybody. That's the reason they passed the 17th Amendment. They wanted to restrict state power. If you go back through the Constitution, rich people want to get rid of the Senate for a long time. It has the power to get rid of Donald Trump in an impeachment.
Yeah.
It won't.
Right.
Because they're getting paid from other people. We really the country got wrecked a long time ago, in my opinion, with the 17th Amendment and the 16th Amendment. Hey, rich people, we got to fund the government. We're not going to use our money. We're going to use the tax money of our labor. What? Income tax is another one. Again, you can go back and look at history, and you can see we were wrecked then. So I want the vote to matter more. If we had the vote to matter more for, like, our governor, the local journalism would be studying our governor, what the relationships are. There may be still corruption, but I'd rather have that corruption money get spent in the state instead of New York City.
Should we legalize gambling and marijuana, Greg Hunter?
Gambling's already legalized in Wyoming. Matter of fact, it's one of the...
For the state. It's not legalized for the local. It's not. It's you. You do not have permission in radio. We are still held by the FCC guideline
Right.
not to. You must be 51% benefiting a nonprofit in order to have any semblance of gambling in the state of Wyoming. Only the Wyoming Lottery is the exception. So yes, we do have
What's
that,
the
but it's
horse house?
only state approved
Entertainment.
gambling. It's only state system. It's only the system of the Wyoming Lottery that's allowed. You cannot. I could not put on an event where you roll in the new year, and I have a prize of $10,000, and I sell prize, chance, with consideration. Those are the three elements that do not allow radio to prevail in gambling. That has not changed
Wow.
in the current operation. There's no state statute allowing that.
Well, the state always wants its money. It's going to take its money for tobacco. It's going to take its money for gambling. Now, if you want to start talking about what we should and should not do on all these things, in other words, for my gambling's legal. I like betting on horses, and so I
can
bet
do that by Paramount Mutual, right?
I can bet online,
Yeah.
just like I can bet on any football game online.
Bless MGM. Bet MGM.
Well,
right?
again, I'm a firm believer in the only tax-free gambling should be horse racing because it benefits the most people. It benefits. It is the highest labor, agricultural intensive, and it supports green space because the more horses you have, the more open space you can buy. But they used horse racing to shoehorn in gambling on all sports. So, do we benefit by the ding, ding, ding? Do you benefit by pulling the one-armed bandit? I see no benefit in that. That should be taxed.
It's entertaining.
It is.
Entertainment purposes only.
I did quite well in the
That's what I'm
football
saying.
pool. I'll just tell you this. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan and you've bet on the Buffalo Bills every time, you lost because they never covered the spread. What I've learned, again, this is what everybody is learning about in Wyoming, about gambling.
Right.
I've learned it 35 years ago because I married into a horse racing business, and I was in a football pool that bet against the spread for 35 years. You know how you win against the spread? Flip a coin. There
you go.
because it is the only people who
Gambling
win
heads here with
is
Ray
Vegas
Hunter.
and the state because of taxes. Now, once we allow all kinds of people to run gambling, then you can manipulate the public to win every time. Look,
Free market beware.
I used to work at the Eagles, right? There used to be
Pull tabs, right?
There were pull tabs. There was actually gambling
Right,
machines
right.
because it was a club. We actually had a big gate that used to come down. The feds are here. Drop the gate. Boink. But the person behind the bar knew how many pull tabs had been paid, right?
Yeah.
You can look it down and say, hey, the 250s are there, and there's only 10 tickets left.
Get more tips if you can give that
So
information.
if you're the
out.
mice in charge of the cheese, you can control the gambling. I think the state knows that. I think the state wants to keep that money to themselves, and we lie to ourselves. So I guess I hear your cry about it. And again, to me, between two people, you should allow gambling. I mean, you're not going to stop it anyway.
Nikki Glazer.
Oh, she was hilarious.
What
What
did Nikki do recently?
She reminds me of Don Rickles. She reminds me of the great comedians.
She
that
was
could roast
hostess with the
people.
mostest last night.
She was hot. She was on it. She knew what she was saying. She was roasting.
Who'd she light up?
Oh, Sean Penn said something.
Uh-oh.
I know.
He's already lit up
took
already.
it, and he took it. That's what she said. That Sean Penn will go.
I didn't see the joke.
Yeah,
I can
it
deliver.
It was hilarious. Sean Penn is not afraid to go to countries around the world where they need help and do cocaine. That was her joke. It was
And
funny.
again, demonizing cocaine.
No,
Where we
I-
kicked everybody on.
He laughed.
We're wrapping up the Talk Shop this morning. 8:10, your Talk Shop
Bomb
time.
Sean Penn.
8:10 this morning, and wow, what a glorious week. We've got a strong Monday. Greg Hunter, El Cameron, thank you so much for joining this edition of the
Eric.
Talk Shop. In Studio 255, I'm Eric Henderson, and we'll be back in a moment with Brett Glass and your City Council agenda preview for this week.
Woohoo!